welcome back to Black Butler Anime Review Special number 5. Yeah, I haven't done one of these in about 2 months. Well, there kind of is a reason for that. There was no new chapter released last month at all, and then all of a sudden, like yesterday, for some strange reason, we have 2 new chapters. That I do have a theory of why they're trying to release these now, because it's kind of like, meanwhile, what these two people are up to. And my guess is they probably want to give the people a double dose of that, or they probably was taking too long translating these damn things. Okay, we'll first start off with chapter 151. That Butler, slacking. Chapter starts off with the other Cecile Phantom Hive talking to, I think this is supposed to be the two Charles? Yes. And the Undertaker is there. Yeah, Undertaker's here. This is the first time that we've actually gone back to these characters in probably almost about 20 chapters. Yep. So, he introduced himself as the Undertaker, like acquaintance of Lord Phantom Hive. And they mention Lady Francis. Yep. I think these are, actually no, these are not the two Charles. This is actually, well, Cecile's uncle and cousin. Yeah, because, well, he's engaged to Elizabeth. Somewhat. We see a brief cameo by Elizabeth. First time in like 22 chapters we've seen these two. Seen this character. And apparently she's still moping. She's not fully recovered from what happened at the beginning of the arc of the series where she was brainwashed by this musical spear. Which it was revealed, I think it was in the last chapter, that Cecile was going to investigate that. Have Sebastian investigate it while Lau investigates whatever else basically related to the other Cecile Phantom Hive. We see briefly the other Cecile Phantom Hive, and apparently it's revealed that the other Cecile Phantom Hive is shorter than than the one that showed up than the actual one. Well, it's actually taller than the actual one. They talk for a while. We see a brief cameo, basically an image of Queen Victoria, and then we cut to basically the other Cecile in his study, and then Tao, I think his name is, the longtime butler of the Phantom Hive household, gives him a ton of papers to go through. Basically, it's the company and other stuff related to being an actual lord. Well, an earl, mind you. Yeah. And of course, they wanted to talk about hiring staff. And despite the fact that the house was run superbly by Sebastian, yeah, I should point out though, this is Sebastian's only appearance. This whole chapter is 1 page. He doesn't show up in the next chapter. Nope. And because of the fact he does a fantastic job as butler, they only hire like 3 people. Well, 4 people include the footmen. Yeah. And they, according to him, basically to run everything related to the household, they need to hire at least 30 people. And of course, Tao was going to basically research that. He's going to take time to do that. The RCC was like, okay, I'll do that. And of course, he basically tried to offer the position of butler to the Undertaker. He's like, nope, not interested. I have no interest in the Maine or the country, or the administration. And then we have, the RCC basically dealing with a bunch of toys because, the Phantom Corporation, because they make toys. And so Revenge, yeah, he just basically plays with a couple of toys. And he just says, burn it all, however you like. So he wants to get rid of the toys for some reason. Does he want to change the Phantom Corporation to something else? Because it's been a toy company at this point for about 3 years. Actually, about 2 years has been basically like this. So, in actuality, I'm not sure what was the whole point of this. This particular chapter was simply put a meanwhile. Yes. I'm going to give this chapter because, if you look at this chapter, it doesn't seem that this plot is not progressing forward at all. It just basically focuses on the main villain of the story. I'm going to give this chapter roughly a 8 out of 10. It's a slight step down from last week, from the last chapter. Now, of course, move on to chapter 152. His butler, that butler, moving separately. And this is a chapter focused on Ren and Mei Ling. The Mei Ling is, despite the fact she doesn't look like it, she is of Chinese descent. She's basically half Chinese. I think she's like half British, half Chinese. While Ren is basically full Chinese. So yeah, they've come to this manor they come to this area to hire as maids. Well, Mei Ling has experience being a maid because she's an actual maid, works for Phantom household, though she actually sucks at her job. She's much more better at actually guarding the place. And of course, well, they mentioned their sisters. Well, could be half sisters, yeah. So yeah, they basically, when we hired and the basic sisters, they mentioned that, well, Mei Ling is 24 and Ren is 18. Me? No, 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 no. And of course, they could hire pretty much on the spot. Yes, they could read. Yep, average. Very well. How are you? You can never have too many hands. And of course, they sort of basically introduce well, one of their people. They show them around. Show them a room. My Discovery 7. It's like, wow, really that early? Yep. Yeah. Basically, rest. It says we'll bathe every 2 days. Okay. And you should drop by town on your rest days. Feel free to use servant's carriage they got out of there. Okay. It's like living a dream. So you're right. Right, man? And of course the other is like, suspicious going on. Don't forget, you'll be working your share. Have you got your own uniforms? Yes. From our previous job. Good, would you please change? Are you gonna stand and watch the whole time? What difference make? We're all girls, right? And of course, Mei Ling, you're probably see that, Mei Ren is wearing like a corset. And they changed their tires. Now, Mei Ling basically is used to wearing this. They were done changing. Not bad at all. And of course, she looks under the skirt and she sees, well, where's boots? Says, and what are these? They look like boots made for men. And it says, our previous employer gave these to me, since I have unusually large feet for a woman. Is that so? I suppose not too strange, considering even the Queen enjoys high-laced boots nowadays. Yeah, so no problem at all wearing the boots. Yeah, no problem at all, despite the fact, well, she's nobody's seen wearing these things anyways. Yeah, as mentioned, chores, basically, Mei Ling will do, well, work as a housemaid, be laundry maid, perform the regular duty. Let's take a walk around the grounds, look, and it says, let's go, Ren. Yeah, sister. And that's where the chapter ends. It's just Mei Ling and Ren basically just getting a job. That's the whole point of this chapter. It doesn't seem that though that this arc is progressing forward. It's just it feels like two standalone chapters that, well, this one might set up for something, but this one feels very standalone. But of the two chapters that got released, this one I like a little bit more because it feels as though we got a little more development what the heck is going on. The last chapter, not very much. We see a little bit with, well, the future in-laws, talk to them for a bit. It's mostly like a exposition chapter dealing with, well, what to do next. Like, I'm sure so he was like, I got this whole house to myself, and of course, I keep forgetting the guy's name. I think his name's Tao. He's been serving like a long time. He actually turned against Cecile because, well, he didn't believe he was the actual one, so there's that. Now, as for the case for the actual Cecile, the one we've been following since the series started, he's nowhere in these passages. You see an illusion of him in one chapter, in 51. Of course, he's Sebastian, obviously, but they're nowhere in these two chapters. Not at all. They are surprisingly absent. As for what the other characters are up to, I don't know. Basically, in the case of well, what these two ladies are up to in this chapter, this is probably, I think, the first these two have ever worked together at all that I can think of on anything. Though they're working undercover at this, well, working as housemaids. Yep. The only case of Ren, that's what they call her in this chapter. She, of course, well, doesn't have experience basically working as a maid because she's a freaking assassin. Well, actually, both of them are assassins, though one works as a maid basically on a regular basis. The whole thing of her, she's actually a mercenary. Though she's very good at being a sniper. Yeah, she's a very good sniper, and she doesn't use a scope at all. The other one uses basically knives. Oh yeah, and also whenever she's around her employer, he has this thing of rubbing her legs a lot, and always putting her in very weird positions. Basically, always sits on his lap. Obviously, he refers to as his sister, but they're not blood related. Yeah, but that's basically when it comes to this particular series. When it comes to her, and of course, as for Mei Ling, well, she has a crush on Sebastian. As far as I know, this is not really developed at all. I kind of hope maybe possibly she might start a relationship with him, but it has gone nowhere. I mean, seriously, nowhere. And I'm thinking, though, she's given glasses she cannot see out of, and yet she's supposed to perform as a maid. Maybe she won't perform a clumsy performance like she does in the actual Phantom Hive household. Yep. So I'm gonna get this chapter because I like this one. I like 52 better than 51. I'm gonna give the chapter hopefully a 9 out of 10 because this one feels like it's gonna go someplace. The other one's not. It probably isn't going someplace, but I don't have a good feeling about this one. It just shows, yeah, the other Cecile Phantom Hive is evil. So what? And he burns toys. He wants to burn these toys for some reason. He's a kid. Why would he not love toys? When I was his age, I love having toys. And then he wants to burn these things for some reason. I don't know what it is. So yeah, that's particularly it for this particular review. Tomorrow I have at least one video I wanted to do, and that's a review news chapter of 7 Deadly Sins. Yeah, it was something though today I did not get a chance to do One Punch Man. Well, that's mainly due to the fact of French Open being today. Yep, I didn't even think about that and looking up like, oh, that's the reason why the French Open. So, we'll have to wait next week for it. Yep. But yeah, for the only day this week I don't have any videos set to record is Thursday. Though I might be able to finish. Now, I'm working on Case Closed Season 22. I'm getting kind of close to finishing up right now. I just finished up episode 698. I have roughly 17 episodes left, so I'm going to finish with a little bit more tonight, and I'm going to finish it hopefully tomorrow, okay? And I may be able to review either tomorrow or Thursday at this rate, okay? But see you next review. Bye.